last years, I've read more than 150 fantasy books, and I can honestly say that most of them are hidden gems. In today's video, we're gonna see 9 books that I absolutely adored and that have less than 30,000 ratings. Just for reference, Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss has been rated by more than 800,000 users, and The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson has been rated by a little bit more than 500,000 users. So if you compare these books, these are really kind of like secret, and we will be seeing it in 3 different categories. And we will start with the book that has only 2,700 ratings. Honestly, it blows my mind because it's currently my favorite, and that is Guns of the Dawn by Adrian Tchaikovsky. It currently has a rating of 4.16, so it's pretty good, and I absolutely adored it. It has been pitched as what would happen if we were to take a Jane Austen character and then send it to war. The pacing was fantastic. Keyword-wise, it was adventurous. It has a little bit of a medium pace because it wasn't really fast. Amazing characters. It was also kind of like pretty character-driven, and the romance, the slow burn, was to die for. And it will tell the story of our girl who is part of this family of sisters, and like they go to this ball. So really imagine any Jane Austen story up to this point, and then in this land we start to learn that this kingdom, it's really in the brink of the war, and one day our girl will also be drafted to war, and the story will unfold from there. Our girl, it's witty, she is courageous, and the love interest, it's it's just as in Pride and Prejudice. I honestly just read this because of the reading challenge that I did, and I did not expect to like this, and I loved it. Then we continue with a concluded trilogy and the first book, The Ninth Reign. It has been rated by just 4,000 people, and it has currently a 4.13. And this series, I reckon it's a little bit different to what we are used to in fantasy, I guess. It's very slow. It has a little bit of a mystery. It's almost a blend of sci-fi as well, and we will pass a lot of time trying to discover what is happening and just getting to know the characters. So it's pretty character driven. Then eventually like the story takes off, very adventurous, and it's kind of like a quest. And The Ninth Reign will tell the story of these 3 different characters that live in this world where every now and then there's this set of wars that happen. These wars are called reigns, and the tricky thing is that as these reigns happen very rarely, like a lot of centuries pass between these wars, currently they don't really remember who are they fighting against. And so we will kick off the story with 3 main characters, one of them being this elven, almost vampire character, like he is running away from his home because he does not want to see everyone, just decaying, and he wants another life for himself. Then we also will see a witch, but witches here are kind of like different. They're very feared and they are kind of like enslaved. And third, we will see this kind of like Indiana Jones kind of character that is trying to discover and analyze who are these evil and how can we defeat them. And we do a little bit of a jump with the book that has been rated by 8,000 users, and it currently has a 4.16 stars. Honestly, one of my favorite reads of last year, and it's Dark Rise. Dark Rise is the beginning of a young adult fantasy series, and it honestly feels a little bit more adult. It has this classic good versus bad, and we will also have a little bit of a chosen one and kind of like learning your powers. There's going to be a hint of romance as well in here. It's a very good blend between a character and plot driven. Dark Rise tells the story of this land where a long time ago this very evil creature arose and almost killed everyone. But now the problem is that no one really remembers this evil, and this evil is emerging. And the story will kick off with our guy Will, who is kind of like a little bit of a gifted one, and one day he will be chased down by this society called the Stewards. They are the only ones that still remember how to fight this evil, and it seems that Will is going to be playing a very important role in this war. And we change now to the second category, and it really pains me to see one of my favorite books, honestly the favorite book I read last year in here, and that is The Sword of Kaigen. With just 10,000 ratings, it currently has a 4.45 stars, and Sword of Kaigen made me cry so much. It is unforgettable. If you need to take one book from this whole list, this is it. This is fantastic. It's adult fantasy, it's a standalone, it has a nation-inspired setting, which I loved. It has elemental magic, and it has as main characters a mother and a son. And Sword of Kaigen will tell the story of this land, Kaigen, that are kind of like the last resource in case of an invasion. They are the only ones that still believe in the classic ways of fighting, you know, like they're really into the samurai ways, and they really hone their magical abilities. In this case, in this land, they have ice. And we will be following the Matsudas, the ones that are leading this land, and how they will need to face a potential invasion. However, there's a lot of topics around the family bonds, and you know, each of the characters will have such an incredible arc. It's really character driven, but the plot was fantastic. I don't believe there's a book that I love how the elemental magic has been used more than I do in Sword of Kaigen. And now we go to another favorite, which is The Bonsha Daughter. I really loved this book and second book as well. This is part of a trilogy that is currently unconcluded. It has been rated by a little bit more than 16,000 users, and it currently has a 4.06. This is again a nation-inspired story. In terms of tropes, it's very different. It's kind of like discovering oneself, a little bit of a chosen one. It's pretty character driven. It has some hints of horror, and honestly the magic system, it's fascinating. And The Bone Shot Daughter will follow different points of view, but we mainly will talk about two. One of them is the daughter of the emperor. This emperor is the only one that is able to perform what is called bone shard magic, which consists on different bones that are extracted from people that he can inscribe, and then that he can put in these constructs that he has made, and then he's able to ensure these monsters to come back to life and to do whatever he desires. And then we will kick off with our girl, who has forgotten every memory, and she will need to start this path of recovering who she is, learn from scratch this magic in order to become the next emperor. And then we'll follow other character that, not really wanting to, he kind of like becomes slightly a hero, like right off the bat from the beginning of the book. But deep down, the only thing that he wants is to find his wife because she is missing. And then we go to the book that I've potentially recommended more to my real life closest friends, which is Shadow of the Fox. I honestly was shocked when I saw this book here. I loved it so much that I've actually bought first book in different editions, and it's just not this book. The whole series, the scenario, the love, the romance, the characters, I thought it was outstanding. But it only has been rated by 17,000 people, which sucks. It currently has a 4.01 in terms of stars, so it's not bad. It's a nation-inspired story that will have a lot of folklore. It's very plot-driven. It has this sunshine and grumpy trope, as well as a slow burn that I absolutely adored, and two main characters that are really fascinating and that I still think about them and, you know, are just cinnamon rolls. And Shadow of the Fox will tell the story of our girl Jumeko, who is a kitsune, so she is half woman, half fox. And you know, she lives in this temple with the monks, and one day something very terrible happens. Turns out that after that event, she discovers that in this temple they were taking care of a small piece of a scroll that is sacred and that can change the scales of the world forever. So from that point onwards, she will need to start this quest to ensure that this piece of a scroll is safe. And along the way, she will meet different characters. The only prominent one is Tatsumi, this shadow samurai that has an incredible power. He has this special sword where inside a demon resides, so he can really kill people. Like, he's not to be joked about. And he will start to follow Jumeko, although he has his own agenda. And we change now to the last category, so between 20 and 30k. And we start with For the Wolf, a fantasy romance that has 23,000 ratings. It currently has a 3.68 stars, so from all of the books that we've seen, this is the one that has the lowest rating, but I really loved it and I had so much fun. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it's told under such a different angle that I honestly was very fulfilled after reading it. It's gonna be a little bit of an enemies to lovers and also a chosen one. It's a new debut, so I guess part of the low ratings might come from that, but honestly it was fantastic. It talks about this land that it's kind of like in perpetual twilight, and they need to do certain sacrifice to the wolf that is taking care of this land. It seems the forest that surrounds this village has really evil, powerful creatures, and this wolf, it's the one that it's preventing these creatures to go and kill everyone. But in order to keep this wolf happy, people has decided to sacrifice the second daughter to the wolf, and we will kick off with our girl being that sacrifice. We go now to Fundricide by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is a series that has just been concluded. A high status score, Fundricide has been rated by almost 29,000 users, and it currently has a 4.21 stars. It starts being very adult fantasy and then it ends being almost sci-fi, but you know, like you are doing that path along with the author. And Fundricide will talk about this world where they are able to inscribe objects and then persuade these objects to behave in a certain way. So you can inscribe a wheel and ensure that this wheel keeps running and running and running without anything else that propels it. And we will see how this land, it's really divided between different houses, and each of these houses kind of like treat this magic it's even as intellectual property. So they really fight for the control, for the power of learning more about these inscribings. And you know, we will kick off with our girl Sancha being a little bit of a special girl because she has the rare ability of being able to touch elements and then being able to hear what they are thinking. And one day she will get the almost impossible mission of stealing one box that lies really secured in one of these different houses. And from that point onwards she will be chased down, and you know, what she discovers will change the world forever. Now we get to a book that really fascinated me, that has been rated by almost 30,000 users and currently has a 4.22 stars, which is Black Sun. This is a story that really has an incredible blend between a character and a plot-driven story. We will be following different characters. It's a little bit of a chosen one, almost a quest. It will be pretty political and religious, and I really loved it. Black Sun will talk about this pre-Columbian American civilization, and we will kick off with us knowing that there is going to be a certain celestial event, and it's kind of like a moment where the gods are more powerful, and we will be following different characters towards this celestial event. One of them is this guy that he believes himself to be almost a god. Then we will be following another character that it's kind of like this sailor that has a little bit of power herself, and then we will also have an inner look into the sacred city, and we will be following one character that is at its top. And that was it for today. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this one, subscribe to our channel. And if you want to see all the book recommendations that are not necessarily hidden gems, but that have a magic system that fascinated me, I will link down below that video, and I really hope you like it.